Yeah, so you might notice it's quite dark in my room, and it's not because it's getting dark, it's because my light decided to break Friday night, and I need to get maintenance in to fix it because it's not a normal light bulb, and they can't do it till Monday, so I've been living in the dark all weekend. So it's kind of like being on the Haunted Mansion, except without the Haunted Mansion stuff. Anyway, it's episode 6!
Susie's Disney Adventure.
Today I thought I'd talk about my 5 favourite things at Disney that don't exist at Disney anymore, or at Disney World anymore. Fairly self-explanatory. Rides change. There's this really great Disney quote about how the park's always evolving and things like that. So anyway, these are my 5 favourite things to do at Disney that you can't do anymore. Number 1, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Now, Lauren, and I'll try and put a link in here somewhere to the particular vlog where she's talking about it. She did this massive vlog on 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, so rather than me explaining everything about it, I recommend going and checking out her vlog. The one thing I will add to it though, that I particularly remember, is the fact that the queue for 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was outside, and I think initially it wasn't covered, but even with it covered it was boiling hot, and it was just one of the most awful queues ever, and it was always really, really long. And when they brought out the new Nemo ride, well, it's not so new anymore, but it was new when I was out there, Disneyland, I missed it by like literally a matter of weeks, and I would have loved to have gone on it to re-experience that same kind of thing. Number 2, Tarzan Rocks. I've got some pictures of it that I should be showing right about now, so you can kind of see roughly what it was like, but it was really cool. It was a big concert style thing where the Finding Nemo musical now is in the Animal Kingdom, but it used to be an open air theatre, but it was quite enclosed. It was kind of like the Beauty and the Beast theatre, except bigger, and if you've seen Finding Nemo the musical, there are loads of ramps and stuff, and there used to be even more of that, and they used to come skating and doing tricks, and then you had a live band and 3 singers, and then you had like Turk in costume and a Tarzan and a Jane and people doing things on vines and stuff. It was really cool, and it was sad that it kind of had to go for Finding Nemo, but both of them were really great. But Tarzan Rocks was amazing, and me and my sister used to go every single time. Number 3 and number 4, I was kind of, initially I was like Horizons and Wonders of Life, and then I realised that actually there are loads of attractions at Epcot that I miss, and so I just thought I'd put 3 and 4 together and make it just a big thing about Future World at Epcot. So first of all, you've got Horizons, which, to be honest, the thing I remember the most is the fact you got to choose your own ending, and that was the coolest thing ever. It's like complete audience interaction, so that was always really fun. And it had a link to the Carousel of Progress in there by using the same song during one of the scenes and things like that, and it shows you people living in space or under the sea, and it was really cool. Next, Wonders of Life. Well, it's still kind of there, but it's not. If you ever get a chance to go to the Flower and Garden Festival at Epcot, they open up the Wonders of Life Pavilion for loads of flower-related stuff. So you can kind of see what it was like, but it's more like a shell of its former self. And it had Cranium Command and Body Wars, and it had these bikes where you could cycle through Disneyland. And it had the Making of Me. It had loads of cool stuff in there, and it's really sad that it's not there anymore. And I had some great stories, things that happened there with me and stuff. So I loved the Wonders of Life Pavilion. So if you ever get a chance to go in there, you can kind of see where everything was without actually being able to see it. So I'd check that out because it's really cool. What else? Kitchen Cabaret and Food Rocks, which were very similar shows and used to be where Soaring now is. They built a whole extra thing on for Soaring, but It was basically how to eat healthily, but you had like these animatronic food packages, and if you ever do the I think it's the Backstage Magic tour, where you get to go behind the scenes at the Magic Kingdom and Epcot and Hollywood Studios. They actually have the old animatronic for Bonnie Appetit, who was the host of Kitchen Cabaret, and you can check that out, and it's really cool. So that's Kitchen Cabaret and Food Rocks. They're basically the same thing, but Food Rocks was more of a modern update on Kitchen Cabaret. And then we've got... now, I think the title of this was Journey into Imagination. They always vary the title ever so slightly, and I get very confused about which one's which. But basically it was the original Imagination Pavilion ride, and it was the same vehicles and stuff as there is now, and you had Figment, and it showed you how the Dreamfinder made Figment, and they had all these scenes where you were going through clouds, and there was painting, and it was just really cool, and who doesn't love Figment? So, if you don't know who Figment is, I'll try and put a picture in here, because Figment is like the coolest weird alien dragon purple thing ever. It's Figment. So that's that, and also attached to that was the Imageworks, which apparently are still upstairs in that building, so who knows. It had like a giant rainbow tunnel and loads of cool interactive things that you could do. So the Imageworks was actually the best bit of that whole pavilion, so I really wish they'd open it back up because it was amazing. And finally at Epcot you had Seabase Alpha, which basically what is now the Seas with Nemo and Friends, or whatever the name of it is. You've now got, it used to be the Living Seas, and within the Living Seas you had Seabase Alpha, and the bit that I absolutely loved, but it's essentially mostly the same, were these lifts where it made you feel like you were going deep underwater and they like shot water up and stuff. It was really cool. So Seabase Alpha, it was the last thing at Epcot, so that was number 3 and number 4 devoted to Future World at Epcot. Oh, I forgot World of Motion as well. I'm sure there are videos online on YouTube and stuff of World of Motion. It's kind of like Spaceship Earth, except instead of being about communication, it was about transport. That's all there really is to it. Number 5 is Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Play It. There is a particular reason why I absolutely loved it, other than the fact I get really competitive about things, and it was basically Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, except the entire room plays along, and whoever either does the fastest finger fastest, or scores the most points when the previous contestant goes out, gets to go in the hot seat. And initially I think you won a trip to New York to watch the show being taped there, and then they changed it very quickly to you won a Disney cruise for your whole family. So kind of cool prize, and between there and 0 and the top prize, you've got like pins and hats and t-shirts and stuff, but I'll go into that more in another vlog, because yeah, there's a reason I want to go more into that in another vlog. I wonder what it could be. So yeah, those are my top 5 old things to do at Disney.
Suzie.